Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Dima. Yeah, the hair is new. Have you guys seen me wearing hair that looks like this in a long time? No. I'm really excited about this hair. Who do I remind you of? Tell me. With this hair on. I'm not gonna say, just say it. Say it. Guys, this video is going to be a life update. A lot has happened since they locked outside. I decided to date. I'm gonna tell you guys how that went. Just a couple of things, just catch up with you guys. Let's start. In this video, I'm going to be doing my makeup while we chat. Have not done that in a while, okay? If some of you are kind of confused about the situation I have going on here, guys, this is my fault. I own up to it. Let me tell you guys, like I was too lazy at a point and I wasn't thinking properly. That's what happened. Okay, so basically you guys know when I was rocking like the two cornrow like French braids, I think they're called. A while back, you guys loved it. I loved that hairstyle too. But the first few weeks trying to preserve that particular hairstyle, I was tying my satin bonnet like a durag, like not even regular durag, like Mercier durag. Like I brought it all the way down to this place. I'll just tie it here just to make sure that, because guys, I hardly ever go to bed and wake up with any type of head wrap still on my head. To make sure that my the bonnet was extra secured, I was bringing it down to this area, and what it did is it just clogged my pores because I was doing it every night. And if there's one thing I know at this point is that my forehead likes fresh air. It's actually calmed down a lot. So what you guys are just seeing are just dark spots from, you know, the clogged pores. I also have this whole situation here because of my mask. I feel like a lot of us are kind of breaking out in this area because of masks. This has also kind of calmed down. To save time, I'm going to do my brows and I'll be right back. Okay, so I am back. I'm going to start out by priming my eyes. This is the ABH eye primer, the same one that they include in like almost every PR package that they send out to influencers with eyeshadow. So I'm going to take this smudge. I'm going to apply this on my eyes. It's just going to, you know, prepare this area for eyeshadow and prevent it from creasing. A lot has been happening this year. Let me tell you guys, I have been dating and I have gist. I feel like a lot of the things I have done this year is just to do some research and get back to you guys with what I have seen, saw, okay? Some of it has shocked me, but we're going to get into that shortly. I'm going to set it with some powder to just give me an extra layer of assurance to make sure that the oil does not come through at all. I'm going to be using this eyeshadow palette by Lydia Stanley, my girl Lydia Stanley. If you guys do not know her, she's an amazing makeup artist on Instagram and here on YouTube as well. She came out with this palette in collaboration with Ezekiel Cosmetics, which is a Nigerian brand. So it has some really, really gorgeous colors in here. Guys, can you see how beautiful this palette is? And she named some of the colors after some of her favorite people. Which I am, of course. So this color here, this bronzy shade here is called Dim Matte. For the look that I want to create today, I don't think that I'll be using that particular color. I wish I will be, but no, I think I'm not going to. What I found with this particular eyeshadow palette is that it's one of those palettes where like they work so great with a brush. They're very pigmented, but not like, you know, powdery, soft type of pigmented that when you dip your finger into it, you come out with a lot of pigment. That's not what you get with this. But then they work really great with brushes. Like the colors work great with brushes. So I am going to be using this palette. To be very honest, I don't know where I want to go with this eyeshadow look that I'm about to create right now. I think I'm going to let the print that I have on my dress, I think I'm going to let it inspire me. So I have plum and I have this like brownish shade here, this copper brownish shade, and then I have blue and then I have white. I think I'm just going to try to do something that kind of looks like these colors. I know that this is kind of the lazy way out, but guys, I want to gist with you people. That's the main reason why we are here. So for this particular look, I'm going to start out with this shade here called Amber, and I'm going to use this as my transition shade. Okay, so guys, you know, like there are times when you feel like, oh, you have time and you're like, oh, I'm really eager to meet someone and just date. Like that was not me last year. Like I had so many other things that kind of took my time. I had a couple of projects that I was working on. So I was just like, if anything comes organically, yeah, if it doesn't come, like I could not be bothered. And this year, we know how things have been now with COVID, everybody's at home. And I think we really need to study what is going on, because this is not just me. I've had conversations with people and I'm like, for a year like this that we have not gone out as much, a lot of people have said to me, and I have also said back to them, that we have been doing a lot of dating, just more dating, I think, than we would like on a normal year without COVID. Like, guys. Lord, see, I've met quite a few interesting people. Like, I've met some really good people, I'm not going to lie, in this whole process. And I've met some very, very confusing people. Okay, so I think I'm going to kind of gist you on some of the stories that I kind of find funny right now. Like, just looking back at them, I think that they are just hilarious. There's this podcast that I think I talked about, was it early this year? I said what I said. I was telling you guys how I was enjoying the podcast so much. But I was a guest on there, and the particular episode that they invited me to come and speak on, we were talking about women, love, and money. So with the podcast, what they do, we always start off with trending topics at the time. I'm going to try to link the particular episode that I was on in the description box. So around that time, we had this whole conversation on social media where people were kind of debating secret stashes. Talking about secret stashes, like women and secret stashes, or women and having money that your significant other does not know anything about. Okay, there was this whole debate on social media. People were talking about it. A lot of people were just really contributing, and I was reading a lot of things as well. I don't think I said much. See, sometimes Twitter can be exhausting. I find myself reading a lot these days and not really saying as much as I would on a normal day, because I feel like people are just looking for who to fight on Twitter most of the time. And I know what my thoughts and opinions are when it comes to a lot of these things. If it is a cause or something I feel like it's important that I lend my voice to, then I would say something. If not, like if I want to, then I would say something. So this time on Twitter, they were talking about secret stashes. Some men were saying or talking about how it was bad that women would have money saved somewhere that their husbands didn't really know anything about. So next I'm going to go in with two shades. The first one is Gunu and the next one is Ama. Like, this is like a very dark brown, but looks like it has bits of pink in it. And I'm going to kind of mix it with Gunu, which is like a dark magenta. Guys, the kind of family that I come from, or just maybe the kind of culture I'd say that I come from, secret stashes is actually something that I think that from very, very early on is something that women are encouraged to actually have. Find a way to create one, have money on the side, or have something that generates money for you. Like money that you just kind of have on the side that not necessarily that your husband doesn't know anything about, but just money that maybe you don't talk about as much. And with that said, I've also seen money like that come in like handy for women in certain situations. And I know that some of you will probably be like, okay, why would you have money that you don't want your spouse to know anything about? And I've seen it happen a lot. I've seen women encourage women who have very controlling husbands, men that are maybe abusive, not necessarily physically, maybe verbally, you know. I've also seen other women, like actually older women in my life, encourage women who their husbands don't know how to spend money, maybe spend recklessly or constantly spends money that is supposed to really go into the family on women or other like ridiculous things. I have seen women time and time again, or I saw women time and time again growing up, encouraging these women to actually have money that the spouse does not know anything about. I've also seen situations where, let's say that these like stashes were something that, let's say at a point, the woman kind of disclosed that she had. Let's say in situations where the husband is someone who spends recklessly. I've also seen it happen sometimes when I think that they even become more reckless, knowing that if push comes to shove, the spouse has XYZ that he can tap into and use it to do the things that he likes. So when that conversation was happening, I found it very interesting because a lot of people, even women who I know, actually thought that, you know, it was not right. But then again, I feel like to a large extent, it also depends on the type of partner that you have. There are things that you tell someone who you know is responsible when it comes to money, and then there are things that you don't tell. I'm saying this because I have seen it happen up close and personal, where it's the money that these women have saved or had saved at a point that was what kind of saved their family at very like critical points, like very, very important points in their lives. Like when they thought that all hope was lost, it was that money that the woman had gone and kept somewhere that was what kind of just saved the whole situation. So the whole conversation actually made me pause and think, it's actually probably not what a lot of people think about it. And I saw conversations happen, and people even outside of Nigeria, women from other cultures were talking about what this type of money was called in their culture. Can you guys tell me if this is common where you are from, if you are not Nigerian? And what do you think about it? Do you think that it's absolutely necessary that if you're a woman who, you know, is kind of making money or saving up money on the side, you know, just you're kind of saving it for a rainy day, do you think that your husband must absolutely know that that money is there. Like I said, I think that the answer to this question for me would depend highly on the type of person that you've married. So that, I was talking about something and I remember that podcast reminded me of this topic and I was like, I think I should drop this in here and just kind of get you guys' opinion. But then we kind of talked about dating and, attitudes towards money and all of that. So guys, go check out that episode. Just check her out, okay? Check her out. I think you're going to love it. So back to my dating shenanigans. Guys, I have seen things. Next, going in with my P. Louise base in Rumor 4. And I'm going to use this to carve out my lid space. Guys, when I'm carving out my eyelid area, I find it very difficult to talk. So just please excuse me for 1 minute, okay, while I do this. So for my lid color, I'm going to mix these two shades. So this, and this is amber and umber, okay? The color that I use on my crease with umber. So I think the one thing that was just consistent, I would say is that men have audacity. Like they would ask things and they would do things and they would say things that we sometimes cannot even imagine, like think of saying to someone. I remember this one situation, like I think a few months back I told you guys I was going to go cut my hair again. I was just so excited I was going to cut it until I took out my braids and I saw that my hair had grown so much, like during the lockdown. I was like, okay, I'm going to try to do the whole 2 cornrows thing. But then before that, I remember that I had told this person, I think I was chatting with at the time, I was like, I want to go cut my hair. He was like, oh, he doesn't like his women with short hair. Oga, who asked you? Who asked you that question that you just gave me a reply to? It's also like people, I think, very, very early on in the conversation just asking things that they didn't have any business asking. I remember this person, first conversation I think we had, he was trying to figure out how much I earned, and I'm like, Oga, did I ask you this? Like, why are you asking me this question? Like, it's not something that I think is like a bad question to ask. I feel like it's something that you ask someone at a certain stage. It's not something you ask someone early on in a conversation. You're asking somebody how much they earn. Like, Oga, from where to where? What's that? Huh? And it just blew my mind what a lot of them expect from just women who they don't have any claim on. So someone are trying to talk about cooking and not cooking. Let me tell you, it's not me that you're going to be talking about who's going to cook and who's not going to cook with in the first conversation. I see a couple of them try to do that. I'm like, that there's things that, you hear that people would say that somebody told them or a guy told them and you're like, how dare the person open their mouth like, this one is bad, that you cannot even imagine it till you hear it with your ear. Okay, so I'm going to take these 2 shades, Gunu and Ama, and I'm going to pack them into my outer corner. I remember this one guy who was legit worried about outfits that I could possibly wear on Instagram. I did not say outfits I have worn. I didn't say outfits I have worn. He literally was trying to find out whether I would wear certain things on Instagram or not. Like I said, these are people who do not have any claim on you, and this is like 2nd, 3rd conversation that you're ever having with this person, and this is the type of things that they're worried about. And it just made me just at a point, I was like, oh, wow. Some people are brave. I'm not even going to get into some of the things that my friends have told me, but I'm telling you that the streets are rugged, okay? People were jamming people's husbands on Bumble and Tinder. They are there. Go there, you see them. Find all of them there. And I remember us having this conversation, and one of my friends was telling me about how someone she knows who had found out that her husband was on Tinder just confronted him, and he said that he forgot to disable his account after he got married. I was like, well then, you asked a question, he has given you an answer. Why are some men wicked? I don't understand it. So you're just here forming who are married, okay? I'm inside the house. Whereas the person that you and him entered agreement is outside scoping the terrain on a public platform. I think I'm going to put a little bit of this navy blue called Regal in this area. Just a little bit to add some depth, okay? Going in with this shade here called Milky Way, this is what shows you that a proper artist actually put this together, because all the shades that someone my skin tone would need for like transition, will need for brow bone, all of that, tear ducts, everything is here, okay? And I love that. So I'm going to use Milky Way to set my brow bone area. Just trying to make sure that everything is seamless at this point. So there's something I feel like sometimes about like women who have lifestyles that come across as comfortable, that kind of puts some men's like ego like in overdrive, I would say. And this is also just going by some of the conversations that I have had. Why am I telling you guys all these things? Like I said, like I've met really good people. Not everybody thinks like this, but then the amount of people who actually move this way or say very, very like I don't know, condescending, ridiculous things to just people who they are trying to get to know with all confidence at the beginning of conversations is outstanding. So I'm not saying all of this to you guys so that, oh, you go and say, oh, you're not dating again, or you're going to go and start folding and be like, okay, if I have to meet someone, I have to pretend to be a certain way. You're going to meet someone, and let me tell you when you're going to meet someone. You're going to meet someone when you don't care whether or not you meet someone. Like, I know that you will get to a point where you see a lot of nonsense and you're like, okay, kind of, man. You know, someone comes, you're just looking at the person with one eye. It's almost as if you're waiting for the person to mess up. Like, I think that it tends to happen like that sometimes. So I'm basically trying to say that it's not everybody, not all of them. And I'm not saying that you should not have to pretend to not be yourself just so that maybe you can get someone. I feel like if you start pretending from the onset, you're going to keep pretending forever, okay? You don't want to do that. This is just a warning that I'm giving you guys, because like I said, I have gone and done research, and some things that I don't understand are going on outside. If you're someone who's looking to meet someone, you're going to come across people who will shock you. Next thing I think I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with this shade here called Latte. I'm going to apply that on my tear duct area. I'm just applying a little bit of the Louise base to help the shadows stand out. One thing I think that I felt it was really important, it was touching me in my heart in this video to mention to you guys, is the fact that COVID is still outside. I'm looking at people's Insta stories and I'm not really understanding. I'm also seeing, or I have observed, that our numbers are going down and they're closing down some isolation centers here in Nigeria. But once in a while, you kind of forget that things are really as bad. I think that they keep telling us that it is, and then you read a personal account from someone who is dealing with COVID or who has had COVID. And guys, let me tell you, COVID is real. I'm saying this because I've had conversations with people recently who looked me in the eye and told me that they don't believe that there is any COVID, that they think that people have malaria and they're calling it COVID. I know 2 people who I love who have had COVID. COVID is not fake. So even if you want to enjoy, please enjoy yourself with caution. Wear a mask. Do the right thing. It's not like COVID has disappeared, and I feel like to a large extent a lot of us are acting like it has. Tell me what you think, guys. Do you think that COVID is still a real threat? So I'm going to use the Huda Beauty Legit Lashes on my upper lashes. Okay, just to prep it for the lashes that I want to apply. So going to line my eyes with the Huda Beauty Life Liner. This liner comes with a pencil liner on one end and it comes with a liquid liner on the other end, and it's very, very black, does not irritate my eyes, and my eyes can be very sensitive. Some lashes. The weather is changing, so that's the reason why my lighting has changed a little bit, but you guys can still see me and that's all that matters. So my lashes are on now. I'm going to prime my skin, and this is my Too Faced Cooling Matte Perfecting Primer as usual. I'm just going to do about 2 pumps. I'm going to apply this all over. If you don't know what a primer does, it's just going to prevent oil from coming through, okay? One thing that I've been doing these days that I really love is to go in with a tinted moisturizer before I apply my foundation. And this is the Colourpop Pretty Fresh tinted moisturizer. I'm just going to take 1 pump and just apply it lightly on my T-zone, okay? I'm not going to apply it all over. The areas where I produce oil the most, that's what I'm going to do. Now that I've talked about like COVID, I want to talk about 2020 real quick. I know that it has been hard for a lot of people, a lot of us. But then just recently, I've just been thinking about all the good things that have also happened this year as well. I just feel like because the year has been weird, I think that a lot of us are also forgetting really quickly some of the things, just some amazing things that we've all been waiting for that have kind of happened this year. This is my Maxio Fix Fluid in NW45 that I'm using now. One thing that just stands out to me that I really, really love, I think that 2020 has just made possible or just done for a lot of people, is that a lot of women who I feel or I believe were waiting to have babies finally had their prayers answered this year. And to me, that is amazing. And we might look at 2020 the way we look at it, but for those women, 2020 will forever be an amazing year. I'm just praying that all of them who have conceived, for those of them who have not yet had their babies, that they have like it's just very successful, safe, easy deliveries in Jesus' name, amen. It makes me so happy because some of them I've been following for a very long time. I even have some friends here in Nigeria that, you know, their prayers were finally answered this year. On YouTube here, like, you know that Desi Perkins, for example, has been very just like open about how difficult it has been for her. And she's finally going to have a baby anytime soon. Raw Beauty Christie as well. I'm just happy for these women. Like, honestly think that I need to go and start running outside. If there's one thing that has happened this year, okay, is the fact that a lot of us have not gotten the normal amount of sunlight that we would typically get. So going to highlight, First highlighter is my Colourpop No Filter Concealer in Dark 46. By the way, guys, if you're interested in this turban, I buy my turbans from Amazon. I'm going to leave a direct link if you want to get the particular one that I'm wearing in this video. Comes in different colors, just very, very convenient. Big Brother is finally over, and guys, this Big Brother was the first Big Brother that I have watched in a very, very, very long time. Like, do you know the last Big Brother that I followed like closely, like I watched, was the one where Uti won. Like, that was the last one I said I was very, very invested. You know, I knew what the voting process was. I remember the song that Uti left the house, like walked into the stage with. I think the song is called Owofaji. Like, that was the last time, and I was still in Enugu at the time. And that wasn't even BBN, that was Big Brother Africa. I know a lot of people have just kind of had conversations just wondering like what made a lot of people who would not normally tune in to watch Big Brother Nigeria tune in this year. And I've seen a lot of people talk about how the lockdown, a lot of people were at home, had more time on their hands. But then outside of that, I think that they did an amazing job with the selection of housemates that they had this year. A lot of them were very, very likable, and fan bases insane. Some of these people had like 1 million followers like the minute they left the house, or even before they left the house. And I found that just really, because I don't think that it has been like this in previous years. So over that, I'm going to use Caramel, which is much lighter than the one that I just used. And for the organizers, I just feel like this should be very exciting for them, because they're just thinking about like how they're going to top it, like just top what they saw happen this year, next year. Hopefully by the grace of God, there will be no COVID. And without COVID, I really would like to see how they will put on an amazing show, because for a very long time, the Big Brother franchise, oh my God, I wasn't supposed to do what I just did now, but I'm talking, so I got carried away. I wasn't supposed to apply this in this area here. I'm just going to blend it out really quickly so that it's easy. So for a very long time, I think that the Big Brother franchise, especially after it came to Nigeria proper, a lot of people who even used to watch BBA, Big Brother Africa, I know that some of them never really watched the show, so this time around it was very good, like really, really good. So I really want to see where it goes. I should not have applied this on my forehead, guys, trust me, like this was such an honest mistake. Oh, thank God, it blended out really well. I'm just going to blend out the one I have in this area. This is my ABH stick foundation in Truffle. One thing I think they should do is to have a highlight show on Mnet, because I remember when I used to watch BBA that time, like all the time. And Mondays you get like a highlight show, right, on Mnet, I think. And this highlight show is just basically like a recap of all the important things that happened during the week. And I was very, very surprised, considering the fact that, you know, I started watching again this year, and I realized that they actually don't show highlights on any channel on any given day. I think it's very, very important for people who don't just have the time to watch the Big Brother channel, you know. And outside of that, like even if I had time, and I had quite a bit of time this time around, I just found it a bit difficult, like just watching. It's just like on the channel, like waiting for something exciting to happen. I think that it's that waiting that kind of does my head in. I like it when exciting things happen, you know, they pop up on social media. I'm like, ah, this happened in the house. I think that there should be a channel dedicated to that. Someone was saying something about them having a like Showmax, not on DSTV, you had to pay another subscription to watch it. And I'm like, no, that's just so unnecessary. So I think that if anybody from Big Brother is watching, please give us a highlight show so that some of us can understand what's going on. I'm going to set now. This is my Mercier Translucent setting powder. Okay. I'm trying to be very careful with this. I don't want to make my nose crooked, please. You guys know that I don't contour, but this is some sort of reverse contour that I tend to do. So I just highlight just straight down my nose and set the corners like heavily so that it just kind of emphasizes the shape. Not even the shape, like just kind of makes things like neat, I guess. Okay, so next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set the contoured parts. This is my Milani pressed powder in Earth Glow. I always mix up the Earth Glow and Earth Medium because I'm an Earth Medium with my Iman powder. And I'm going to go in with my Mercier Translucent setting powder in Medium Deep. Just going to do this. I'm going to go in with some of the colors I use on my crease. These two to be precise, and I'm going to use them on my bottom lash line. I actually didn't know that my camera stopped recording, but I applied some blush. Okay. I used my MAC blush in Raisin. I'm going to apply a little bit of lip balm now because my lips feel dry. And I'm going to pop my wig on. And I'll be right back. Okay. Okay, I am back after 100 million years off camera. Guys, this is curly hair. I really love it. Beyonce who? But then, the thing is, I'm not the best person when it comes to curling hair. So it just kind of took me a while to actually get this hair to look the way that it looks right now. But then I really love it. It's from Chrissy Bales. She's like my go-to for wigs, and this is a closure. It's the 5x5 closure, I believe. I did not use any type of glue. I told you guys sometime a couple of months that I am tired of got to be, so I'm going to keep my lips really simple. You guys know that I love me a nude lip, so I have this lip gloss set that I got from ABH that I have not yet tried, and I really want to try it. And I'm going to line my lips with Morphe's lip liner in Richie, which is like a very dark brown. This lip pencil is so dark, it's almost brown, which I love. These are very gorgeous lip colors, by the way, like love. I think I'm going to use this really like glowy bronzy one, and this one is called Sparkle Lava. I think I'm looking a bit too gothic. I'm going to just right on the center use this one called Nude. Okay, just over that I'm going to use this one called Peachy. Yeah, so yeah, this is just right the type of nude that I like. Beyonce who? This hair color just makes me think of Beyonce. Okay, to be very honest, I actually did not know that it will make me feel this way before I put it on, but this is a welcome development, you know. I really like the way that everything looks. I just wanted to get ready really quickly. I really like the Lydia Stanley palette by Zikel. Really good. Just please support your creators, your local creators. I think that she did a very good job selecting the colors, and even the packaging looks really different. So I really liked it. Everything I've said in this video is just what I've been thinking and everything that has been going on in my life. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe to me if you are not yet subscribed. I'll see you in my next one. Mwah.